And we're live. Hey, everybody. Dan Baumann here with the Designer Show, on with John Schrader and my good friend, well, John's my good friend too, but my other good friend, Kyle Hunt, with Remodel Your Marketing. So,
I think that was a perfect start. This John guy, and then my good friend.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I caught it.
And John, think about the hours and hours you're devoted to the show that you guys. You know, he works with you way more than he works with me, and that's the intro you get.
That's what you get when you spend so much time with somebody. They don't
appreciate you
Take
anymore.
you for granted. That's right.
Dang it.
So
anyway.
Hang on, Dan. I know this is your show, but bringing me on, you know, I'm going to take.
I know you're going to take charge. You're good at that.
I need you to say something nice about John to make up for that.
John is one of the nicest guys you'll ever want to meet. He'll give you the shirt off his back, although I wish he wouldn't.
That was a backhanded compliment. Now you got to try it again.
Twisted arm to say.
Yeah. I'll go real. Okay, John is one of the fastest learners of chief architect I think I've ever seen, and he's really taken to it in a big way. So when he works with clients, I love referring clients to him because I know he will take really good care of them. So nice job, John.
Thank you.
Keep up the good work.
Much improved.
Yes. Well, Kyle, how about you? You say something nice about John.
I mean, I don't know John. I barely know John. But I could probably scrape up something. From just even the previous time that I was on the show, John and I've had one interaction. I found him to be thoughtful, some might say intelligent, and has a good sense of humor.
Okay, that's good enough.
And the mustache is the best mustache out of the three of us.
Let's move on, okay?
That's okay. We'll move on. Sorry. All right, everybody. Thanks for being here today. And our guest, Kyle Hunt, is going to talk a little bit about some marketing things that you can do to stay in touch with your past customers. And one of the cool things about this topic, and it brings back memories to me, is I was a contractor for 20 years, and I had a really good client. Frank Howell was his name. And we did a lot of work on his house. He had a fire, and we got to go fix that. And then we did his kitchen, and we did this. And about 4 years after our last project with him, I drove past his house, and I noticed in the back he had put a new deck on. And it's like, we didn't do that deck. So I just stopped to say hi and say, hey, like, your deck looks good. How come you didn't call us? He said, oh, shit, I forgot about you guys. I should have called you. So silly me, shame on me for not staying in touch with my past clients. So there's a little bit of a story about why this is a very important topic that you should pay close attention to, because I know a lot of contractors that have that same story. You know, John, I'm sure you can appreciate it as a contractor too. So
I've had past clients come and say, I didn't know you did that.
There's that too. Yeah. That's the other thing. Hey, edit. John is the best. Yes, we know he is.
There we go.
So, there we go.
So John Appreciation Day now.
Yeah, there we go.
Well, it's perfect, guys, because today's my 60th birthday.
And happy birthday to you. That's right. I do remember that now.
Yeah.
So, in fact, I got something to send you. All right. So,
John,
Kyle, tell us a little bit about
John. I feel like that's 2 strikes for Dan now. He had that, that opening where he kind of went over you, and you had to remind him of your birthday.
I told him yesterday.
I know. As I was telling Kyle here, I've been running on this 2 tons of fertilizer in a 1 ton truck mode, just with overload with everything that's going on. So, John,
John, I won't rub it in that my birthday was on Tuesday, and he wished me a happy birthday.
I did.
You did.
Yes.
Your birthday was on Tuesday. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday to you as well.
I don't know when Dan's is either. It'll show up on my phone when time comes. But
yeah, and he probably won't say happy birthday to me. So anyway, let's move on. Kyle, tell us, everybody, a little bit about what you do.
Well, I'm a business coach specifically for remodelers. A lot of my clients focus in on kitchens, baths, additions, and that type of work. I've been doing this for going on 13 years, and a lot of my work is around kind of 3 areas, one being the marketing side of things. My proper business name is Remodel Your Marketing. That's kind of what I really started with and still do a lot of. And we're going to dig into kind of one slice of the marketing side of things today. The other area that I do a lot of work in is around the sales process, from that initial phone call all the way through to completion of the project. And then the third area is around financials and kind of your business strategy. So really helping understand your numbers, what your markup is, how to read your P&L, job costing, and that type of work. So the presentation and the kind of the conversation we'll have around stay in touch marketing, we'll have some time left over in the designer's hour for just open Q&A. So whether it's related to marketing, sales process, financials, get those questions ready.
Yeah, cool. And Kyle, I do love how you lead the meetings. I know you're kind of our fearless leader in our meeting. We're part of a group together, and you do a really great job facilitating those meetings. I can only imagine how well you work with your clients. And I love your new homepage, by the way, with you hugging all your clients. Back in the day when we could do that.
Back when that was a thing.
Yeah, and it'll be back. It'll be back.
John, has Dan ever given you a hug?
Yeah.
No, he has.
We're a hugging group, man.
Sorry, you understand this. I'm gonna have to keep going back to this theme and trying to drive a wedge between you, and we're gonna have fun with it.
Yeah,
Give me a hug last year, but he does give me a hug. Yeah.
Okay.
So there's Kyle's homepage, by the way. There he is. And
what's funny about that is these folks are all part of a mastermind group that I run. I do these things called Remodelers Circle. And what's funny is that the one in the bottom right, they're not part of that group, but the other ones you can kind of see we're taken at the same spot. That group has 5 companies in it, and it has 3 Kens.
Oh, wow.
So there's 3 company owners in that group. It's Ken, Stu, Josh, and Brett. So there's 6 actually.
That's great.
But so we have some fun with that.
Yeah, that's cool. Neat homepage. I like that. So that's, and John, you'll attest to this. All of the meetings we do, we're huggers. So we do enjoy that.
Yeah. Well, I will say one other thing on that. It's super awkward to ask for, a picture with a client or whatnot, but, and you don't have to hug them, but for you as a designer or as a remodeler to, you're taking final photos, for you to take a photo with one of your clients, even if you're just standing next to each other, that photo, when you put that on your website, when you're featuring that project, when you put that on Facebook as a post, and you put that picture of you and your client, and you're happy, and you just write a little bit of, we absolutely loved working with John. He was just a joy to work with. Their kitchen turned out fantastic. That will get more engagement and more, attention than just a beautiful finished photo. So don't be afraid of just saying, I know this is weird. Literally, those photos, I'm like, gentlemen, I know this is super weird, but can I get a picture with each of you?
Yeah.
Yeah, Dan, you're the man at this.
This is what we do. Yeah. We don't mess around. The people in our industry, Kyle, are wonderful people. I love hanging around those people. So even John. So all right, Kyle, let's quit boring our people here. Why don't you move on with what you came here to talk about? One question quick, though, before we do that. What's your favorite hobby?
My favorite hobby? My favorite hobby is the game of golf.
That's a good hobby. Fresh air. Yeah.
I even have a golf club in the corner here, just in case I'm sitting around and swing a little bit.
There you go. That's actually a good idea. I should do that too. Get my putter out.
Yeah.
All right. So Kyle, tell us
before I got married, I had 4 kids.
Yeah, I know that feeling too. Although I do love golfing with my kids because they're all grown now, and we have a really good time when we go out.
Excellent.
Get the 4 kids out, and we just hack away. So it's fun. All right, Kyle. So tell us a little bit about this. I think you have a slide presentation you wanted to.
Yeah, if you want to share my screen, I'll kind of guide us through this. So there's a couple things that I'll kind of show here. One is this concept of a success path. It's something I've been kind of playing around with over the last few months, and I'm going to kind of introduce that concept, and in particular, I'm going to kind of highlight it and show it by just focusing in on stay in touch marketing, which I'll get into both those here.
I like that, stay in touch marketing. That just bam. Right?
Yes.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Yes, and we're gonna dive deep into that particular topic.
Yeah.
So this concept of a success path, the way that I'm kind of looking at it is a success path takes you stage by stage from start to finish of one aspect of your remodeling business. So a little bit of the illustration down here at the bottom, kind of where you're at now and where you want to be at the start. Kind of what are you thinking, feeling, doing versus what are you thinking, feeling, doing at the end? And what needs to be accomplished to go from kind of where you're at to get through stage 1? What are some things you need to get done and improve? Then moving on to stage 2, moving on to stage 3, until you get to the point where you've got it fully implemented and it's working in your business. So a success path can really be applied to, how you're charging for design and development. That could be a success path, right? To go from, I know I should be doing it, there's value there, it can protect my time, to what has to happen stage by stage in order for me to go from where I am now to where I want to get to. So does that make sense?
Yep.
Okay. So we're going to zero in on just the stay in touch portion, but just to kind of make our minds think a little bit, when it comes to marketing your design business, your remodeling business, your contracting business, there are a lot of different ways that you can market. There's just a list of things here, starting with stay in touch with previous clients and prospects, develop strategic partners, people who share the same ideal client as you, just kind of bouncing around. You could be part of networking groups, referral programs, parade of homes, home shows, job site signs, advertising, certainly your website, SEO, social media. There's all kinds of different ways that you can market your business. And what I wanted to,
some expensive, some not so expensive.
that's very true. And what we wanted to kind of focus in on, and I spent extra money, by the way, on this fancy graphic at the top.
Oh yeah, I imagine
Just
you ate it when you were done, right?
Just to make sure that the designer show was top notch today.
that-
Especially because I heard of John's birthday. I'm like, listen, we got to really enhance this presentation.
Is that an original photo?
That is called slice of pumpkin pie, enter, copy and paste. That's what that really is. In fact, that could be an illegal photo right now. We could be breaking the law, gentlemen.
Yeah.
Oh.
I was just going to ask you how good it was, but since it's not original, then I guess we don't know.
Yeah. I do have a pumpkin pie story, though. My mother-in-law makes a wonderful pumpkin pie, and my son and I requested one back in the fall, and she brought it over and dropped it off, and we're so excited. And we're eating it, and we're like, she totally forgot to add all of the sugar in it.
Oh no!
That no sugar. It tasted terrible. But she has since made up plenty of times. But
Cool.
The thought here is just one slice. There's all those different ways that you can market your business. Let's just look at one slice, which is how we stay in touch with previous clients. And from an expert point of view of somebody who has helped navigate hundreds of remodelers through talking about prioritizing, figuring out how do I best market my remodeling business, hear me loud and clear that this topic of how we stay in touch with previous clients is extremely important. People like to talk about the new flashy thing of, well, what about this? What about that? I always go back to, you've built know, like, and trust with these clients. You did a project with them 2 years ago. Have they heard from you since then? If you look at your top line revenue, the majority of the dollars coming into your business is most likely going to be from repeat work and referral work.
Exactly.
And we really, a lot of times, just don't put the effort that we should towards this topic.
I actually got myself in trouble years ago because I was doing all this repeat work for past clients and stuff. They'd go a couple of years, but I had enough of those that kept me going. All of a sudden, they got done with all their projects, and I didn't have any new clients.
Oops.
Because I hadn't been paying attention to that side of it. So,
Almost too focused in that case.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yep.
So if anybody wants to type in the old comments, kind of 1 to 10, 1 being terrible, 10 being amazing, how are you doing right now when it comes to staying in touch with your previous clients? The three amigos here would like to know.
Yeah.
When I did this recently, these were some of the numbers that kind of came back of 6, 5, 0, 3, meaning we're doing a little bit, but not really a focused effort on it.
Come on, you guys. Let's hear from somebody.
Okay. It'll come.
I remember that back in the day, in my early days of contracting, I used to work myself out of work all the time. You get busy, you get a job, you get busy, you go do it. And the next thing you know, you get close to the end of that job and you go, what am I doing next? Oh, well, I better start marketing. God, it happened all the time.
Yeah, that cycle.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sean Van Dyke, who wrote Profit First for Contractors, he calls that the craftsman cycle of sell, work. Oh crap, I got to sell, I got to market, I got to sell. And then just that cycle instead of figuring out how to keep that momentum going.
Yeah.
So what I'm going to,
please. A description of that.
Yeah, I agree. I think he's got it copyrighted too. That's why I gave him credit for the old phrase there.
Michael Moore says,
Not well, too
not
busy
well.
day to day.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, cool. So let's kind of walk through. What I'm going to do is give kind of just a high level review of the different pieces and stages in the Stay in Touch marketing. And I don't usually do this when I present, but Dan and I talked and he said, that's fine. I am going to just make a flat out offer at the end of this. I did a course back in the fall on this topic of staying in touch with previous clients. And it was four sessions. They're all recorded. All of the templates and tools and resources are part of it. And I'm going to make an offer at the end of this presentation. John, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Where they can access that $697 course for free.
That's what it says right there.
I mean, that's pretty nice. I don't know how I'm going to do it. People will have to stick around and see. So talking about the start of the success path of staying in touch, a couple things that I think a lot of people realize is, your previous clients are an incredibly valuable marketing asset. You want to make progress on this, but time is limited. Michael just said, too busy day to day. Time is limited. And I think also your strategy is unclear. If I'm going to really excel at this part of my marketing of staying in touch with these folks, how do I do it? So we're going to talk about that. And then thirdly, just this reminder, if you did a project 2 years ago for somebody and I haven't heard from you at all, that's not good. We need to fix that. Right. That's just, I remember a few years ago when I asked that, I like to ask that question. I was talking to this guy down south and I said, all right, so if you did a project for me and my wife 2 years ago, have I heard from you since then? And all his response was, ooh, that's rude, isn't it? Meaning he's not doing anything to stay in touch with them, right? He finished the project, collected the check, disappeared. And that's just not smart. You guys just gave examples, right? I forgot that you did this. And John, you mentioned, I didn't even realize you did that service. There's so much untapped potential in this. So that's kind of the start. And then at the end of the success path, to kind of think through what we were talking about of the start and end and the stages in between. At the end of this, you have a very clear one-to-one and one-to-many plan. That's what we're going to dig into, is how we do the stay in touch in a one-to-one way, where I'm doing something and it's just to one of my clients, and then a one-to-many where I'm doing something and it's going out to all of our previous clients. At the end of this, you have that in place. It's easy for you to be consistent with it. And you're feeling great about it. Thirdly, you're continuing to build know, like, and trust and staying top of mind with your clients. And lastly, you're generating more repeat and referral work than ever before, and they're closing at a high rate, because referral and repeat work closes at a higher rate than general leads you receive, right?
Absolutely.
Cool.
So Kyle, what's where does the fear of success come into play here? What if someone's already busy and they do this, and then it's like, maybe I'm asking this question too early, but all of a sudden they get all sorts of more new leads. So they're afraid to do it because they might get too busy.
Yeah. Kyle, I would love to stay in touch with my previous clients, but that's going to mean my phone might ring. Yeah.
One thought I had when Dan asked that question is, if it's a previous client, they're probably more than likely to wait for you than they would be to go to somebody else.
There's that. I mean, we're in a stage right now. It's interesting to be talking about marketing, because for the majority of the people listening to this, they do not have necessarily a lead problem.
Right.
A backlog problem. At the same time,
today,
right? That can change. That can change in a hurry. When you rewind the clock back to like March, April, all of a sudden everything was going down and the phones went silent, right? So we're living in very, very odd, weird times right now. But the best time to be marketing, to be trying new things, is when you don't need leads. The worst time to be marketing and figuring out a new marketing approach is when you are desperate for leads. And also, as smart business owners, we know that we need to always be marketing. In addition to that, you might build out a bigger backlog, or it might give you more confidence to go out there and hire somebody and grow your business. The other thing that it might do is, by having more leads coming in, yes, you need to figure out how to qualify them, but if you can effectively qualify them, all of a sudden you're going to be working with higher caliber leads. You're going to be turning down more work. And all of a sudden now, instead of, yes, I've got a ton of leads, not only do you have a good number of leads, but you're able to be selective to make sure they are ideal projects and ideal clients. And that takes some sales skill to do that, but it's a good problem to have.
Yes.
Okay, cool. So stage one, we're going to go through 4 stages on Stay in Touch marketing. Stage 1 is just to understand the importance of this topic. Why is it important? some thoughts, and I've touched on a couple of them. Marketing is, the way I define marketing is getting someone who has a need to know, like, and trust you. Marketing, getting someone who has a need to know, like, and trust you. And in this case, the reason that our previous clients are so valuable is that know, like, and trust has already been built. You're building off of something that's already really solid and established. I argue that they're your most valuable marketing asset that you have. If you can give them, we want to give them a remarkable experience. And that includes after the project. We put in so much effort to make sure they have a great experience throughout. And it's kind of silly to then go radio silent and to not continue to educate, to stay top of mind, to offer help, to follow up, and just see how their project's doing 6 months after, a year after. We'll talk a little bit about that. It's, what you just asked, what if I'm super busy? Should I still be doing this? Yes, for the reasons we just gave. And I think the other thing to keep in mind is we got to keep it simple. When we make it complicated, that's when things do not get implemented, and that's when things don't happen consistently. Right. So as we create our plan to stay in touch with previous clients, we need to make sure it's simple.
Exactly.
Okay. Good. So this is just a little illustration I like to use. Is this your client? Your sad client says, I hired you to remodel my kitchen 3 years ago for $75,000. Yes, everything is holding up well, but I'm sad. I haven't heard from you at all in the last 3 years. Some of you could be raising your hand right now and be like, guilty as charged. Or is this your client? Your happy client says, I hired you to remodel my kitchen 3 years ago for $75,000. Everything is great. Thank you so much for the newsletters, the 1-year birthday card, the annual Thanksgiving card. Thank you for the home show tickets as well. It was nice to see you. By the way, I have a referral and a project that I want you to look at. I mean, I made that a little over the top there at the end, but you get the point, right?
Well,
you get the point. When we're staying in touch, that's the type of thing that happens. Yeah. Referrals flow a little bit easier. When you're top of mind, boy, it just works. It just happens. That's just facts. All right, cool. So stage
Gentle
one,
nudge.
please. What's that?
Gentle nudge.
Absolutely. Cool. So on stage one, we hit on those. Let's look at this part. So to really understand the importance during this, we're going to have actually this screen. In order to kind of move through stage one, you understand the priority that this area has in your overall marketing plan. I kind of been trying to convince you guys of that, and those of you listening. You've reviewed what you're currently doing and the results / consistency of it. So in stage one, again, you're understanding the importance. You're looking at what you are or currently aren't doing. You're committed to making sure this part of your marketing is top-notch and professional. And then you've reviewed, there's 5 checkpoints in stage one to complete before you head to stage 2. So I mentioned that course that I'm going to make available to you guys. There's a 75-minute course on this particular topic where we go deep into this. There's some checkpoints to go through. But once you've accomplished those items, you can move on to stage 2. This slide in here of going, woohoo, we got through stage 1. Isn't that exciting, gentlemen?
Oh, I'm just thrilled.
Thrilled. John, what are you getting for your birthday, by the way?
I have no idea. Probably.
You didn't ask for anything?
I didn't ask for anything. I didn't even remember it was my birthday was coming up at the beginning of the week. So,
okay.
I'm good.
Okay. So stage 2 gets into a little more specifics. Stage 2 is about one-to-one stay in touch plan. The way that you stay in touch with your previous clients is going to have a one-to-one plan, and then just telling you what's coming up at stage 3 is a one-to-many plan. So with a one-to-one plan, the project's completed. They're now a previous client. How do we stay in touch with them on a one-to-one basis? A couple things related to this. One is you have to have a great end of project survey and Google review process. I'll show you a couple examples of that. And then we want to have a strong communication plan from the completion of the project through 24 months after the job is done. What are we going to send them and do at 6 months, at 1 year, at 18 months, at 24 months? And how can we set that up for it to be simple to execute? And then you also are consistently using an end of job checklist. So a couple examples there. This one is just of a simple end of project survey. So you're asking questions like, was the sales process informative and comfortable for us? Our project was organized and freshly run, and your client's rating you from strongly disagree to strongly agree. questions or problems I had were responded to and resolved quickly. And then you ask a few questions over on the right, like, what did you enjoy the most about doing business with us? Is there anything else you'd like to share or any general comments you have? And then the kind of this tried and true survey question is, how likely is it that you'll recommend us to a friend or colleague? There's these templates that are on this page and also on the next couple slides are part of the course that you can get access to. But what's cool about this is if they select, I use a program called WUFOO, WUFOO.com, WFOO.com. And the way this is set up is if they select 1 through 8 on this, how likely are you to recommend, and they click submit, it takes them to a page that just says, thank you so much for your feedback. Appreciate it. And that's it. But if they select 9 or 10, it takes them to a page that says, thank you so much for your feedback. You wrote in the what did you enjoy the most about doing business with us, this, and it pastes in there what that is. Would you be so kind as to copy and paste that and click the button below to leave a Google review? So it's kind of has this built-in ability to solicit and receive Google reviews as part of it, which works really, really well. So that's part of the course resources, and also something that you can set up yourself by setting up an account and doing different things through WUFOO. So that's kind of a neat thing. The other thing, here's an example of what you can send out at the 6-month mark. Hey, I just wanted to thank you again for choosing Kyle's Remodeling for your remodeling project. We truly enjoyed working with you. We like to touch base with clients 6 months after the project to make sure you don't have any unanswered questions about maintenance and care. Please let us know if we can be of service. We're always here to help you in any way that we can. Thanks so much. The thing that we talk about in the course, and also something that we can just think about now, is we want to have a one-to-one plan to stay in touch with our previous clients. I'm showing you some examples of some things that you can send out. The big thing that comes up is like, well, how am I going to remember to send that out? Do I have to have a fancy CRM system? Do I have to have a fancy automated this or that? And yes, you could set it up in a pretty fancy system, or as part of your end of job checklist, when you are closing out this project, you're sending the final invoice, you're moving them from, open projects to closed projects, you're updating a variety of things. You could also say, add into your calendar one year follow-ups. And if you just go into your Gmail, your Outlook, and 30 days out, send them 30-day email. 6 months out, send them 6-month email. 1 year out, call them. If you just set up those reminders, that's about a very simple way to do it. And then when that pops up at the appointed time, you got to execute it, you got to do it, but it's going to help you simply and easily stay in touch on a one-to-one basis. And that's just good marketing. It's good client relationship building, and it's a great way to stay in touch. Any thoughts on that, gents?
Well, I think that, if you have someone helping you in your business, doing some of the administrative tasks, that could be a good duty for them to handle.
Yep.
Just make sure those things go out on a regular basis. Again, it's just, it's nothing like getting something in the mail that, oh, happy birthday or something like that.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Making the phone call, do you have a sense for what day or what time of day would be the best time to call people that are in business?
At 6 o'clock in the night.
Do you call them in the evening? Do you call them during the day when they're at work? What do you do?
Yeah. I mean, most likely you do have their cell phone number. Part of me is like, just I would love it. Just make the call. Well, because if we get too specific, they might be like, well, that time doesn't work for me. Just making the call is half the battle.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, it depends on who the client is. I mean, times are weird right now where everybody's working from home. So like that answer a year ago might be different than now. But I would say that 4 o'clock hour is pretty magical. That 12 o'clock hour is pretty magical, even first thing in the morning. I don't have a firm kind of preference there.
Okay.
Yeah. Cool. And then the other part of this is making sure you have an end of project checklist. There's a bunch of examples in the course resources, but making sure you've got a little warranty and project binder that you filled out. If you're doing an end of project gift for the client, making sure they're added to the correct lists in your CRM or anything in QuickBooks. Maybe you take a minute before you check off this box to connect with them on Facebook or LinkedIn if you desire to do that. And then just think through other things to close that project out well. To have a little checklist goes a long, long ways. And another bullet on here could be set up one-to-one follow-up for next year, and execute that and get that on the docket.
Yeah. And, and you think about that, what does that cost? Maybe the cost of a gift basket or something like that. But Other than that, no cost.
Yep. So that's stage 2 of the one-to-one stay in touch plan. Woohoo! Bring on stage 3. So again, stage 1 is understanding the importance. Stage 2 of your stay in touch marketing plan is your one-to-one plan. And then stage 3 is your one-to-many plan. And what we have in here is making sure our client list is fully organized and set up. And also you've completed, there's a one-to-many worksheet, and you've selected 2 or 3 key one-to-many options that you're going to implement. So that first thing related to your client list. This is just kind of a boring and tedious thing to put together. But to remind anybody listening to this, when you are creating your up-to-date, organized client list, you're creating what I would say is your most valuable marketing asset. To have all of your clients' names, addresses, email addresses, and organized in a way that you can easily mail or email out to them is an extremely valuable resource. So put in the effort to make sure that it happens and that you get it organized. A lot of times you can just export it out of QuickBooks. That gets you started pretty well. Maybe you have a CRM system, and I wrote in there like wrestle with it. Remove certain people. Everybody's got a few knucklehead clients that they don't want to market to. You guys never had any of those, did you?
Never.
Okay. Sometimes that happens.
I did. Yeah.
Everybody always has a few people to take off the list.
It's the 1 in 10 that don't let you make a profit. You kind of want to take them off the list.
Perhaps. Yep. So you do that. And then also maybe consider if it's easy to pull prospects, to get your prospect list organized. It's even better if you can have a list of all clients and prospects. So in case you wanted to send something just to clients, or if you wanted to send it just to prospects. And also consider adding to this list any strategic partners. People, designers, realtors, landscapers, some of your trade partners wouldn't be bad to have on this list, so that some of your email marketing or mailings that you're going to send out, that they also get. And also maybe consider some friends and family. There's a lot of friends and family that kind of know what we do, but don't necessarily know exactly what we do. It makes it easy for them to forward on an email or to be educated on what exactly we do. So that's one of the big first steps there. And then when you think of some of the one-to-many stay-in-touch options, a lot of remodelers and contractors do a print newsletter, or even just some kind of print postcard from time to time. Something to consider, maybe a couple times a year, to get something in your clients' mailboxes. Certainly social media can be a wonderful way to stay in touch with previous clients. A lot of times when I see a social media post of one of my clients taking a picture of one of their team members, which is a good personalized thing to do, talk about pictures earlier. When you post that, when you tag them, a lot of times I'll see, oh, we loved it when John worked on our projects. We loved working with Dan. So previous clients are following you on social media, and that's a good way to, on the one-to-many front. When things open back up and we have home shows, we have Parade of Homes, that can be an awful great way to offer them some free tickets and invites to that. I've seen clients do different seminars where they educate them on the design trends or process. I have a client who rented out a movie theater a couple days before the Star Wars movie came out, did a little spiel at the start, and just invited clients to that, which was great. I have a client in Pennsylvania who has a historic home tour where they had a couple dozen clients come and do this home tour, and it ended up at a brewery. Family fun days. The idea of perhaps, especially after post-COVID, one of your approaches when it comes to your one-to-many stay in touch, be some kind of event. In the course that I did in the fall, one of my clients out east is huge into barbecue. And when we dug into this part of the stay in touch plan, and I was pushing them to say, all right, I want you to select a couple of these, what comes to mind? He's like, what, it'd be stinking fun to have just a barbecue where we invite our clients to. It ties in with what I love. We can get this, that, the other. It'd be a lot of fun, right? And that's smart marketing. That's good marketing. He's going to spend some money on that, but he's going to build further know, like, and trust with his previous clients.
Yeah.
I like that idea.
Yeah. We used to ask our clients if we could do open houses after the project was complete. Sure. Invite the neighbors over to see the project. We did a bunch of those, and those were fun.
Yep.
It's a fair amount of work put together, but they don't cost much other than some food and drink and a little bit of mailing. And other than that, it was pretty easy.
Yeah, absolutely. And then email marketing. We've got email addresses. It's very affordable to execute that. That should be part of your one-to-many stay in touch options as well. Okay, there's some example, just email newsletters. All right, cool. So that's stage 3. So stage 1 of your stay in touch marketing is understanding the importance of it and getting clear with what you are or aren't doing. Stage 2 is your one-to-one stay in touch plan. And stage 3 is your one-to-many stay in touch plan. Gentlemen, is it kind of making sense how you can put together kind of your marketing plan when it comes to staying in touch with previous clients? What do you think so far? What's one of your takeaways?
Makes sense to me.
I have a question for you.
Please.
So I haven't been making phone calls, and I have clients that have like from 2 to 5 years ago. What do I say to them when I call them? They haven't heard from me for 2 to 5 years. What do I say?
Yeah. I would say something along the lines of, what was your business name, John?
John Schrader Construction.
Schrader?
John Schrader Construction.
John Schrader. Okay. Hey, this is John with John Schrader Construction. And they'll go, who? Because it's been a while. Right. But introduce yourself.
What do you want?
you could go one of 2 ways. You could go one, something that I'm working on this year when it comes to my marketing is to pick up the phone and call some of my previous clients that I just tremendously value and just reconnect. You go that route. Super simple, right?
The key there was making them feel important, right? By saying they're tremendously valuable.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So again, and also positioning of this is something I'm working on. I haven't done a good job of it. And I'm really wanting to reconnect with people like you, my valuable client. The other thing you can do is, and this is especially if it's been quite as long, or either way, the other route that I go with this is, hey, this is John. I was calling for 2 reasons. 1, I wanted to see how you guys were doing. It's been a while. And 2, I wanted to see how the project we did for you is holding up. Yeah. Boom. That's a perfect voicemail. And that's also just a very clear reason why you're calling. Mm-hmm. And, some people, when they think of calling previous clients, which is a very simple, smart tactic, they look at that and go, well, what if I call them at the 1-year mark and they have some little issue on their project? And then that turns into a stinking call and I got to go in there and tweak this or fix that up. To me, what I say to that is, that's good. Yeah. That's good. The story that, 1, when you enter that into QuickBooks, put it as a marketing expense. Put that little follow-up call as a marketing expense. 2, you're back in their home. And so often it's like, well, since you're here, can you look at, we've been thinking about a bathroom. Yeah. Or 3, the fact that you stood behind your project, you called them, they identified something, you went out and fixed it, and you don't have to rush out to get it, but you eventually fix it. That story that they have in their mind of, man, he stands behind his work. He came out and fixed this thing that was just kind of bugging us. It wasn't a big deal. That's delivering for your clients. That type of thing is going to pay itself off many times over in the years ahead. And that's the way I look at it.
Yeah. Yeah. Just one example of that. I ended up with a $40,000 or $50,000 small deck and porch addition because I went and adjusted their refrigerator. Seriously, they weren't going to call. They weren't going to call me except the fact that I came and did that. They called me for the refrigerator, and then they were talking about their project. That they were looking for somebody, but they weren't necessarily going to call me to do it. Mm-hmm. But anyway, yeah, that works really well. The other thing about the 1-year mark is you can put it in your marketing plan to call them intentionally at 1 year to say, hey, your 1-year warranty is coming up. We want to take care of those issues that are, you got a drawer slide that's out of whack or something like that,
Yeah, absolutely. And some people, depending on your approach, but also depending on the size of the project, if you're doing bigger projects and you're not, cranking through 10 a month, the idea of even making it an expectation that says a little bit before the 1-year mark, we're going to call and we're actually going to set up a time for you to come out and just inspect the project and just review any potential little tweaks or challenges. Again, some people look at that and go, that's the dumbest idea I've ever heard. But if you're smart, if you're thoughtful, it's actually a brilliant idea because, again, it's going to pay itself off time and time again in the future. The other thing
it gives you an opportunity to do is to perfect your craft because you're able to see, okay, how's that holding up the way that I did that? Is that a good way that I did it? And you can look at those things when you're in their house without them even knowing what you're looking for.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'd be curious. The comments are a little quiet today. Mm-hmm. But does anybody have a takeaway of what they've heard so far? We've gotten very practical, very clear ideas, kind of showing this concept of a success path step by step. I'd be curious if there's any takeaways or questions.
Simple, low cost. I mean, or no cost in some cases.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, cool. And then stage 4 is execute and implement. Execute and implement. We need to make sure that our plan has clear budget numbers next to each part of the plan. Some of those, like you just mentioned, Dan, there's no cost to this. Other things like some of the one-to-many approaches that you might select are going to have some budget that's going to need to be put behind it. So we want to make sure in stage 4 that our plan has clear budget numbers. We also want to make sure that we're clear with who is responsible for each part of the plan. Maybe there's portions of it that a salesperson might be, or a project manager, or somebody in your office, or you as the owner might do. And then also we want to make sure that the plan that we have has clear SMART goals. That way we stay on track and we're accountable, because a well laid out plan that doesn't get executed is worthless.
Mm-hmm.
That's profound, wasn't it?
Yeah, very. Man, I'm
very
amazed.
profound.
So what is
it's worthless. It's absolutely worthless. It's about implementing and executing. So a SMART goal is specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and time-bound. Meaning you went through in step 2 and stage 2 and created your one-to-one plan. In stage 3, your one-to-many plan. And depending on what you selected, there's some steps that you need to take to make sure they get executed. So make sure a person is attached to that, a timeline is attached to that, so you make sure that the execution happens and there's some accountability there. I just kind of went through what a SMART goal was.
Yes, I figured that.
Cool. So once that's done, woohoo, we're through stage 4.
Yeah.
Does anybody want to yell woohoo?
Woohoo! Woo.
You guys are crazy. Absolutely crazy. Mm-hmm. So at the end of the success path, you can kind of see the steps that we took. We've got a clear one-to-one and one-to-many plan to stay in touch with your previous clients. It's easy for you to be consistent with it. You're feeling great about it. You're continuing to build know, like, and trust and stay top of mind with your clients. And you're generating more repeat and referral leads than ever before. And they're closing at a high rate. Sweet. Cool. So the thing that I wanted to show, we got a little comment.
Charles, I think how poorly I've done this over the years. Ouch. Yeah.
Charles.
That's kind of does smart when it slaps you in the face all of a sudden, doesn't it?
Yeah. And it's one of those things of Charles did not do it because he didn't think it was a good idea. Charles just been busy running a business, you know, and working the business. So, again, going back to some of the things that I said at the start, don't get distracted by all of these other ways. Yes, your marketing plan has a lot of different facets to it. But what I see is people spending time and energy on areas of their marketing that does not have the ROI that comes with staying in touch with previous clients. Get this part of your marketing locked in, dialed in, and ready to rock. Okay. So I am going to just make a little offer here at the end, like I mentioned I would. Mm-hmm. I did this course, Stay in Touch with Previous Clients, back in the fall. There's 4 sessions that we did where we go through each of those different stages, and there's about 14 companies that participated in it. So in those recordings, you hear a lot of the back and forth. You can see some of the choices, some of the selections, some of the questions that they've had. And what was really cool about it is at the end of that course, everybody in the group had a very clear plan, just like what we described, locked and loaded and ready to go. We're now 4 or so months removed from when this was done. I've been getting some updates from some of the people that are in the course, and they're executing it, and it works, and they're excited about it. So I sold that for $697 back in the fall. And your price can either be $297 or it can be free. Or it can be. So the last thing I kind of wanted to mention here is I have a program that is called Remodelers Autopilot. And if you are what I'm describing here of a residential remodeler, have more of a focus on kitchen, bathroom remodeling, and you're not staying in touch with your previous clients via email, social media, this program is kind of perfectly built for you. Again, it's called Remodelers Autopilot. And what I'm offering is, if that describes you, you can try it for $1 for the first month. And if you're willing to give it a shot and try it out, you're going to receive the course for free. It's kind of a simple, nice offer.
That's a deal.
Yeah. And if that isn't you, if you're not more of a residential remodeler, kitchen, bath remodeling, you can buy the course for $297, which is still a pretty nice little deal. So I was going to just describe a little bit of what Remodelers Autopilot is.
Yeah.
There's a done-for-you email newsletter, a couple of them that you get to choose from each month. So you get an email that says, hey, here's a couple emails that you could choose from. You select one of them, and then my team takes care of it from there. You just select through. You can customize the photo that's used. You can add something to the top of it. But after you're fully onboarded and we've got your list set up, we've got the templates all customized for you. Once you click submit there, we get the technology done and we get it out the door for you. And it just comes month in, month out, and you can be very consistent with it. So there's an email newsletter each month. There's also done for you social media posts. So you get another email that says, hey, here's 8 social media posts. They're mostly focused around kitchens, baths, additions, that types of remodeling. We do a lot of work around really highlighting the pre-planning and design and development part of the process. And again, you kind of go through there, you select the posts you want. If you want to change out the photo we selected with one of yours, you just click upload on that. And then once you submit that, we schedule them out for you on Facebook on your behalf. So it helps you just stay consistent with that. You can repurpose the email as a blog post, and we actually take care of that for you as well, which is a nice little value add. And then in addition, there is a Ask Kyle Anything call. I just did it for February yesterday. And this is a time for my Remodelers Autopilot clients to call in and ask any questions and just have a little access to some small group questions and to ask me something very specific that I can help with. And also everybody kind of chimes in with their thoughts on it. Cool. It's kind of risk-free. It's $1 to try for the first month. After that, it's $125 a month. John, that's cheap, isn't it?
It's pretty cheap for doing what you're doing.
For what I'm doing, it's done for email news.
Probably take an employee 5 or 6 hours to put that together at least.
It's very, and we make it super easy.
Yep.
Super easy, but there's no long-term contract or anything like that.
And it's not cheap; it's inexpensive.
Thank you.
Okay. Yeah. Cheap.
It's very valuable.
Yes.
Thank you, Dan. If it, if it wasn't Friday afternoon, I probably wouldn't have used a word like that. But we're on the week, and I'm a little loose with my words there.
Yeah, exactly.
Cool. So if you guys want to take advantage of this, there's a couple ways you can do it. If you go to remodelyourmarketing.com/Dan, you can sign up for it there. Or if you just text me 517-902-8450, whether you're listening to this live or you're listening to the recording, say I listened to the designer show, want to take advantage of the $1 trial and get access to this Stay in Touch marketing course, or if you want to buy the course for $297, you can do that.
Nice.
Cool.
I've always loved this program since you rolled it out here and told us about it a few years ago. And it's just, I think it's a wonderful idea.
Yeah, it's simple. Like, it works. It works well. I mean, you get a list of 100, 150 of your previous clients or more than that. And if you're just consistent with getting that email out, you get replies back. And I didn't take the time to kind of show some of those testimonials, but people love it. It just works nice. Yeah, and
your your newsletter is professional. Your blog, your social posts are professional. They look good. It's just a really good idea. Can you see an example of your newsletter? Michael Moore is asking.
Yeah.
There it is.
There it goes. How can we see an example? If you go to the remodelyourmarketing.com/Dan, you'll see in a couple of those little videos there some of the samples.
So if you're watching this on my website, below the video, just look for the link right here, remodelersautopilot.com, and when you click on that, that'll take you to this page. And there's some testimonial videos, or actually, that's probably you explaining it.
That's just me explaining how it works.
Yep.
But for Michael, also, if you text me at 517-902-8450, I'll send you a link to even this month's and last month's articles as well, or emails.
Nice. Oh, there's a testimonial. So,
that's Tim Bader. He loves Autopilot. That's a fun little video we did. Yeah, and he's your typical, remodeler who, kind of like what Charles said. I've just not been staying in touch at all, and this has made it easy for him to do it.
Yeah, and that's the key, easy. So how'd you come up with this idea to do this?
Well, from just working, one-on-one with clients, and when we were getting to this part of their marketing plan, it's pretty much always kind of like, oh, I need to be doing something there. So I started just creating some content that I could use with my one-on-one clients. And then it was a couple of years ago, and it was actually through our mastermind group where I said, man, I've got this thing, it's working for my one-on-one clients. I don't really know. And through conversation, kind of repackaged it as just a simple, standalone, affordable, some might say cheap.
Inexpensive.
Inexpensive
Reasonably priced.
Reasonably priced.
There you go.
Product. So got a good number of people signed up for it now, and it's working nice.
That's great. Yeah. I know you've been talking about kind of ramping this up a little bit for people in the industry, and I think that's a great idea. So anybody that's watching this live or afterwards, take advantage of this offer. And I think this offer is kind of it's ongoing, right? It's for the $1 for the first month.
Yep.
And so you give you a chance to just check it out. So you'll go through the process of helping them get things set up for the first month. You'll get the first mailing out.
Did you say I will?
Well, you're ultimately responsible.
Bailey will.
You're ultimately responsible.
Yes, true.
Okay, Bailey.
But Bailey is on. Yeah, she's my employee, and she walks step by step through the onboarding process.
Nice. So that's got to be a good process. Now, if someone's part of this, can they keep adding to the mail list? So they give you more emails, and you put them on the list, and they'll go out to more clients.
Yep. So we usually send out a little reminder every couple months going, hey, you got any new names? And
okay.
Yeah, it's pretty hands off for them.
Is there any kind of a limit, or
once you get into that like 1,500, 2,000 range, it costs a little bit more to just have an account that we use to send it out. Okay. But I would say the great majority of folks, it's not really a concern.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would have killed for something like this back when I was doing contracting.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have killed for it, but it would have been really cool.
That's a good testimonial. Dan Baumann, I would have murdered people for this type of thing. I'll put that right at the top of.
There you go. Yep.
Autopilot.
I remember back in the day, we used to go out, we'd get short on work. So we'd print up some flyers and we'd go stuff them in people's doors. I mean,
old school.
God, yeah. Back before internet and all of that stuff. And,
Sure.
We did mailings too. And the nice thing about this too, is it's measurable, right? So you can tell who's opening the emails or, how many are getting opened, and you can see what kind of responses you're getting from the social posts, and you can also change, and it can be changed and updated. So that's the other thing, as someone doing this can look at it and say, oh yeah, this is working.
Sure.
And ultimately it's measurable because then we start getting some calls.
Absolutely.
So
cool. Any other questions and anybody watching it, whether it's questions about this or just marketing, sales, etc.?
I have a question.
Please.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. I'm a designer. I work for several different contractors, but I'm working as a subcontractor basically for all of them. Okay. That's the scenario. How can I, in that position, use this? Would it be smart to say to all my contractors, hey, I'm going to start reaching out to past clients that we've worked for to try to generate more business for myself? Or do I try to get the contractors to do that? I can see some questions that I would want to ask the homeowner, like, we designed your house 2 years ago, and I'm just reaching out to you to see what you think of the design. Is there anything that you would have changed?
Mm-hmm.
Was that closet in the entryway big enough? We were kind of crunched for space there. Did that work out? Or do you wish that could have been bigger?
Yeah, that's very interesting as far as that reach out. As far as Remodelers Autopilot for a situation like you described, if I'm a trade partner, if I'm a starter, if I'm a subcontractor, for something like this, I think it would be pretty clunky to kind of put, if you're not really wanting to be the one generating the leads, or in that case of you marketing to a lead that was referred to you by that remodeler, that feels a little clunky. Mm-hmm. So in the case of what you just described, I think subcontractors and trade partners, what we don't do enough of is share best practices with people that that are valuable in our network. So if I'm a designer like you described, I'd say, hey, I was watching this designer show. This seems absolutely perfect for you as somebody who's doing kitchens, baths, and additions and whatnot. Here's a link to it, and I think you should give it a shot. And it makes sense for me to do that, one, because I'm providing value to the hand that feeds me, and two, if they're doing this, chances are it's going to help repeat and referral work, which strengthens our relationship. So in the case that you gave me, I would more just say, hey, this is something I watched. And I think when we learn something new about the sales process, when you have a good form that we're using, when we are talking about follow-up calls, if you've got a good idea that's working, share that with some of your colleagues. You know, the more you do that, the more people feel indebted to give back to you. That rule of reciprocity, it works really well. So that's my thought on that, my friend.
Okay, I agree.
Might even get some of those trade partners to pitch in that $125.
Ooh, now we're talking.
Yeah.
Or you've got a cabinet company that, you know, has some co-op dollars. Say, hey, we'll put your logo in this email each month. We'll throw a social media post every so often. Can you pick up the tab on this? You just divided 125 into two, 50-50 match. What's 125 divided by 2? Dan, go. What is it?
It's half of that.
It's half of that. Right there. Boom.
6750.
6750. Did you do that in your head?
I did.
Man.
Told you he's a smart
60
guy.
years old, and he's still, his mind is sharp as a...
I was wrong.
I think it's 6250. But if you're in Canada, it's probably 6750.
Yeah.
For our Canadian viewers out there.
There we go. That's good. So I take it you do Canadian customers too, right?
Yeah, actually, I've got this light here, but I've got this board over here. Can you see that?
Yeah.
It's a bunch of sticky notes. So as people sign up for Remodelers Autopilot, I put a sticky note on there so I can so it was a big month last month because I closed out the P on the RAP, but 2 out of the last 3 people that signed up were Canadians, which is kind of surprising. I'd say 95% of the people are US based, but getting big in Canada. And I talked to the guy in Alberta earlier in the week, and he says it's negative 30 degrees there that day. Brutal.
It's brutal. It's going to be over soon. Summer's on its way.
It is.
So
cool.
Well,
it was a pleasure, gentlemen.
Yeah, it was really nice. Don't have any more questions at this point. So you got anything you want to add, Kyle?
What would I add? What I would probably add is putting this again in perspective of the overall marketing. And I used to hesitate to say this, but now I just kind of embrace it. What I do is work with remodelers on their marketing. If there's an expert at this, I'm at least in the top 100.
Absolutely.
In the world.
I've seen what you do.
Yep. Arguably the top 10 as far as marketing for remodelers, right? But I've been doing this for so many remodelers. So what I say should carry some weight here. Get this part of your marketing dialed in. It works. It's important. And it's so easy to be distracted by this or that or the other. Get this locked in. Get a strong plan in place for this. And then, yes, move on. You always have to continue to enhance your website and look at search engine optimization. But this is often overlooked. And I think because it's a little perplexing, like, what do I do? Hopefully we answered that very clearly of how you create this plan. And also, it's just not the most enjoyable thing. It's not I was about to use the word sexy. Is that okay? Can we use that on the designer show? It's not the sexiest thing in the world. Like, website, new design for that, video testament. Like, there's some cool things. This one's kind of just, it's out there. I know it's important, but man, it's beautiful when you get it in place. You're sending things out. You're getting responses. Your referrals and repeat leads are improving. So I guess that's my final take is just make sure that this part of your marketing gets dialed in. It's really important. And I guess lastly, even though I said that was lastly, even if you're busy right now, don't fall into this trap of you feeling super comfortable of not marketing at all. Things can change on a dime / it's always good to be marketing, period. So don't fall asleep on your marketing.
So here's a little quote that you can start using. It's marketing is everything and everything is marketing. Or it might be the other way. I'm not sure, but it goes hand in hand. Everything you do is marketing your business. So whether it's things on your truck, shirts, whatever.
Hold that thought. I got to grab something related to that.
Okay. I'll just continue talking. The way you dress, you send your crews out, et cetera, et cetera. Yeah, everything is marketing, and marketing is everything.
On my business.
Think of that phone call to make, every year or whatever. I can do that when I'm sitting waiting for the excavator to show up. right?
It's true.
Yep.
It's true. I've got on my business cards, I have these little comics on the back of them. This one says entrepreneurial fog. Can we relate? But there was one that, there we go. It says, everything is marketing. Your job is marketing. Your product is marketing. Your dog is marketing. Your mother is marketing. Your daddy is marketing.
I like it.
On the back of the old business card.
I like it.
Kind of what you were saying, right?
Yeah. Everything is marketing. So, but cool. Kyle, thank you for doing this. This was fun to have you on here. I hope everybody that watched this has learned a few things. And
now I got to clean these. Now I got to clean these up after.
Yahoo! All right. You guys take care. We'll see you next time on the Designer Show. So see you guys.
Thanks.
See ya.